we go. Hello and welcome to the first ever video uploaded here on the Shibaroo Studios YouTube channel. This is going to be the first episode of our weekly art journal video series. And before we get into what sort of topics I want to be exploring in this series, I think there might need to be a little bit of introductions first. So hello, my name is Jonathan. I am an artist based in Armagh in Ireland. And I started Shibaroo Studios about a month ago, and for me it was my first steps getting back into the art world, a world that I hadn't stepped foot in close to a decade. That was something that I never thought would happen, because from my childhood, art was just something that was always present in my life. From early childhood, constantly drawing and doodling anywhere I could, if it was sketchbooks, blank pages on the inside of actual books, or occasionally my bedroom walls. Sorry, Mum and Dad. This was something that was a true passion for me, and it never left me all the way through my life. Through my schooling, I went and did my GCSE level in art. I moved on from there to do a national diploma in art and design, which was an amazing experience. During that national diploma, I got to explore so many different areas of art, from illustration and painting, graphic design, photography, ceramics, textiles. And then ultimately, after passing my national diploma, I moved on to do my higher national diploma, focusing specifically on graphic design. The graphic design was interesting for me because it was a step away from a lot of the traditional art media that I would have grown up with. And I was moving more into a digital space, using things like Photoshop and Illustrator, and primarily working from a Mac. And it was just something that I loved. I loved designing things. I loved using computers to create interesting and fun images. And upon passing my higher national diploma, I decided to move down to the nearest biggest city to me, because I felt that would be the best opportunity I would have to get interviews and begin working professionally as a graphic designer. And initially I moved out. I took any job I could to pay the rent, but I kept my eyes open for any positions in the graphic design industry that would become available, and I just applied for everything. And eventually I heard back. I got a phone call explaining that they had received my CV and wanted to invite me into an interview. And despite the fact that this was something that I was pursuing and pushing for, I just remember receiving that phone call, and I didn't get the positive feelings that I thought that I would have got from it. I just felt nervous, anxious, and like I was completely out of my depth. So I spent time putting a portfolio together. I went to the job interview, and then when I got there, I just remember those feelings becoming so much more intense. And it wasn't just because I was there in the moment. Everyone else that I could see coming in for these interviews, there were people in their early to mid 30s, people who had obviously worked in the industry for a long time, had a rich work history within the industry, and I just felt, what am I doing here? Like, I've never ever worked professionally at this level. And I went ahead. The interview itself was kind of a blur. I don't really remember anything, but I do remember coming out of it thinking I didn't do as badly as what I thought I was going to do. Although, admittedly, I thought I would just walk in and cry and run away. So doing better than that probably isn't saying too much. So I left, I went home, I went back to my normal job, and I didn't think anything more of it until, to my surprise, I got a phone call not too long later telling me that I had the job. This job was working for a company that owned multiple different venues around the city, different bars, and part of the job was designing promotional material for events, for their social media platforms and so on. And again, none of those happy, positive feelings that you think that you would probably experience came to me. I just thought, oh God, what's happened? They've made a mistake. This isn't for me. what on earth is going on? But I took the job, and again, just stewed in this anxiety that I was feeling about going into work in this first professional capacity. And I was not working in that job long. um, when I got there, I felt as if they kind of were aware that I didn't have an awful lot of industry experience. I didn't be made to feel particularly comfortable in the position, but in hindsight, that could have just been me then trying to find any excuse to just run away from this job and all of those really, really bad, anxious, nervous feelings that I was having. And quite quickly, I quit the post because I feel more than anything it was just mentally I wasn't ready for that. The pressure of it. My work history was only just beginning in any industry, let alone getting into one that was actively something that I had a passion about. And so I took the first route out of there as I could, and I just ran. And so much of it came down to fear, a lack of self belief, not thinking that I had any reason to be in that kind of position in the first place. And unfortunately, not only did I run away from that job, I left, I went back to my old job, and I ran away from art entirely. I packed up my pencils, I packed up my pens, I put my camera away in a closet, uninstalled Photoshop, and I just didn't go back. I went on to continue working in the jobs that I was getting, which was in the hospitality industry, an area that I still work in today, and an industry that's been very, very good to me. But it was never my passion, it was never my love. And I took the thing that I did love, and I just pushed it away and never looked back. And it would occasionally just come up in my consciousness, and I would be reminded of this thing inside me that was going, hey, don't you remember that you love me and this is your passion and your calling? And I just never got back into it. And life happens, you get busy, and I just never, ever, ever pick up a pen and a pencil again and just did the thing that had brought me so much joy over the course of my life until about a month ago. So I think there's a few reasons why I've been trying to get back into art again. One of them is I'm not the same person that I was back when I was 20 and was given this job and was just terrified and ran away. Like I'm not that person anymore. I'm 31. I've grown up, and I realize that you can't really run from the things that call you in life, and you shouldn't. They're the things that bring you joy, and we are not here to just get by. We're here to try and do the thing that we love and the thing that we get joy from, and to try and make a living from it, and at the very least just to live the most genuine and fulfilled version of our life, doing the things that bring us joy and happiness and fulfillment. And for me, that was art. And I just got to a point in my life where I thought, why have I run away from this thing? Why am I not actively chasing this with every single fiber of my being? And another two big reasons as to why I decided to get back into it is that I have two children. I am absolutely blessed that I have two incredible children, 3 and 4. And when you're a parent and when you have kids, one of the things that you really want to do for those kids is you want to tell them that they can do anything they set their minds to, and encourage them above anything else to always chase their dreams. I find myself thinking, how could I ever encourage them to chase their dreams when I ran away from mine? At the very first instance of trying to pursue my dream, I got terrified and ran away and never looked back. So to me, that is just, it was a wrong in my life that I felt for them and for me that I needed to try and put right. So that is the shortened, abridged version of my story. So what is Shibaroo Studios? Well, Shibaroo Studios started as an Instagram page that I started last month, just as a place to post my artwork and to give me the encouragement to continue creating it and continue posting it and publishing it. And ever since I started doing that and started getting a little bit of feedback here and there, it's not a big account, I just had this itch to start a YouTube channel that I could document my journey. I see a lot of different artists on YouTube who have their channels, incredibly talented people, and they're showcasing how they've gotten to be professional freelance illustrators and to create a business and a little empire of their own from their art. And it's incredibly inspiring. It's great to see that that path that you want to walk on is one that other people have walked, and to take inspiration and notes from them. But I didn't see an awful lot of people who were in my situation, which was someone who was coming in completely out of the cold, who had been away from this for so long and was taking those very first tentative steps to try and turn their passion and their love of art into a career. And I thought, this is an interesting thing to document. This particular video right here, this is what I want to be the art journal that I will upload once a week. I will sit just down here in this tiny little corner, which is my studio, and I will talk to you right here. I will talk about what it is that I'm getting up to, what my goals are, how the journey's going. Is there anything that I find that I'm getting the hang of, or the things that I'm struggling with? And I want it to be a back and forth community. I want people to get in touch who can offer advice if need be, and just to show people that this is a journey that you can walk to. So that is going to be it for this week. Our introductions are out of the way. I'll sit down again next week and we'll pick up where we left off. We will continue with this art journal. I'll talk about all of my plans for 2023, how I plan to try and make it into the professional art industry, and we'll sit down, we'll talk about the programs that I use, the processes that I go through, things that I'm struggling with, things that I'm finding that I might be getting the hang of a little bit more, and just generally where I see the channel and my art going in the coming year. So if this is of any interest to you, if you want to get involved and continue to watch this journey as I try to make it as a professional artist, please subscribe, check back again, and I'll be back again next week. Until then, see you soon.